Well, good evening. This is Steve Moreland and another podcast from Success Publishing. And you know what we love to do here on this channel, and that is to introduce new, amazing authors to the world. And this evening, actually, it's a very late evening for Leah. Leah's in the UK, and I want to introduce this new author to you. We're going to talk about her book today. We're going to talk about her passion, her mission, and we're going to talk about a word that I love that so wonderfully accentuates who Leah is, and it's sparkle. I love that. And so Leah, take it away, introduce yourself to us, tell us about where you are on the globe and, you know, something about your family and a little bit, kind of let us understand who you are.
So hello everybody, my name is Leah Clout and I am in the UK. It is a very late night for me. It's actually 1:25 in the morning, but who needs sleep anyway? That's one of the things I always say at the moment. A little bit about me. So I'm a wife, I'm a mother of 2 children, which is always my number one job. And my second job is to help other people who suffer from low confidence, who don't believe in themselves. They're in a position that I was previously in. And that's my second mission in life after my motherhood.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I did notice that when I was reading some of the wonderful people that gave testimonials about you and how they've known you forever. And they all talked about how wonderful of a mother you were. So bravo to you there.
There's no book, but we all try, right?
Oh, sure, for sure. So tell us a little bit about your kids and something amazing there. Just share with us a little bit.
So my eldest, she's actually 9 on Monday.
Okay.
And when I had my eldest, I was actually a single parent on my own with her.
Okay.
And, you know, we went through quite a lot. And I met my husband when I've known my husband for a long time, but me and my husband came together when she was about 18 months old. My second daughter came along. She's nearly 4, so she came along in 2017. And they are complete opposites to each other. Mm-hmm. My eldest is very self-conscious, like I was, mm-hmm. And she has some difficulties expressing herself. So she's actually autistic and deaf. So she needs a lot of support. Sure. And my youngest is a bundle of craziness at the moment. She's at that age where she's absolutely everywhere. So sure. Yeah, I do quite literally do everything that I do for my family. Wow. And at the moment, especially with the subject of my book, it's really helped my eldest daughter to be able to talk about her feelings as well. Uh-huh. So that's another really big positive for me. Wow. It isn't just written for me to everybody, of course it is, but it's also written to inspire my daughter to be able to speak about how she feels and to be able to deal with that as well.
Amazing. Wow, how incredible. So I guess I have to ask before we get into the book and everything, when your book arrived, because this is such an integral part of you and your daughter. How did all that happen? How did the box opening happening? What was her response?
I've told her about it the whole way along, so I kept it very secret. The only people that had read my chapter was my husband and my eldest daughter. Okay. And that was because I wanted her to not be shocked by anything that came out there, and to understand how I felt and where I was now before it was out to everybody. Sure. So she was really excited knowing that it would come soon. And actually she was upstairs, and downstairs was really quiet. And I just see this thing come through the letterbox. Uh-huh. And I froze and I didn't know what to do, actually, I'll be honest. Right. And I took the book out very carefully, and I actually recorded the opening. Right. I did it completely on my own. Right. And she came downstairs. I called her downstairs. She thought she had a school meeting because we're homeschooling virtually at the moment. Sure. And she thought she had a school meeting, and I showed her the book, and she got really, really, really excited.
Right.
And she sat down and she read it immediately. She was so excited to read it. And actually something really, really sweet the other day, which means an amazing amount. My youngest daughter was chatting away, they were chatting away,
Mhm.
and my eldest said, "Oh, I love me and I love you." And then my youngest says, "Oh, I love you." And my eldest says to her, "You should love you too. Mummy didn't love herself before, but now she does. And I feel like that too."
Wow.
Um,
Oh my,
yeah.
how amazing.
So, I mean, obviously, my youngest had no idea what she was talking about because she's only
Sure.
3.
Sure.
But it was nice to hear already that that message is there,
Yes.
and that hopefully I can help her with how she feels at a younger age, because it took me such a long time to get there. So,
Sure. Well, I mean, of course, in my mind, the first thing I'm thinking to myself as a father, my two are a little older. In fact, my daughter is actually sitting at the airport right now. She's flying here to Oregon to spend the next 4 days with me to have, it's just going to be some father-daughter time. We're going to go hiking in the mountains. We're going to go visit some wineries. But as a parent, speaking to you, as another incredible parent, what we do for our children to not just help them survive the craziness of this world, but to help them thrive amidst it. And you have just done that. And I know I don't want to say, oh, if your book never got to anybody else, um, who cares? Because it touched your daughter's life. But that's true, isn't it? I mean,
it is absolutely. There's so many things that you can get out of this, and absolutely, I'm very happy with how it went. Um, but yeah, I think as a parent, and the struggles that we've had with her as well,
yeah.
to hear her say that even just once, it means so much. So yeah, of course I want to help everybody, of course, and I don't want anybody to feel like that, but your children are your everything, so to make a difference to them is huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be able to get that infrastructure inside of her early so that she has a point of comparison. So I give you such incredible admiration because your courageous vulnerability to say, hey, here's how I used to be. I didn't have this better way of thinking. And now I do. And so now you were courageously vulnerable with talking about, how you had to go through the learning process that took you a much longer. And that's really what becoming an author is about, is being able to influence others to reduce that learning curve, all the agony and the unknowns, the trial and errors that you and I have gone through, and being able to hand that down to our children so what they can compress that takes away the agony and the unknowns. Wow. I mean, bravo.
Yeah, yeah, I don't really know what to say to that. Yeah, no, it's been fantastic. And
Yeah.
actually, when I came into this, I knew that I was ready to share.
Mhm.
I probably didn't realize I was ready to share as much as I have. So obviously, the process of doing this as well has grown me.
Yeah,
So when I started with this process, I thought, I'm ready to do this.
sure.
Was I actually? Maybe not, but the process has helped me. The process has helped me. And now I find myself sharing things and speaking about things that actually 3 months ago I would never have spoken about
Right.
openly.
Wow. And that's, as you and I were starting right before we began the podcast, you just got selected to be an author. I think you said January the 11th.
I'm sure it was the 11th. It was either the 11th or the 13th of January. Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about not even 10 weeks ago. So we got to see your book. We got to show your book off. There it is. Okay.
I have,
And
I have my banner.
aha, absolutely. I love it. I love it. Beautiful. And can you believe that in less than 90 days, I think you might have been the fastest author we have ever published and got to, this stage where we're doing your podcast. What has happened, to your life? I mean, first of all, did you believe it was real? does this feel like you're walking around with some type of pixie dust?
Kind of. So in the beginning, I was very emotional,
Hmm.
and I was very like, okay, this isn't real until it actually happens.
Right.
Um, and going through it, I wrote my chapter very, very quickly. I
Sure.
took the advice and just wrote what I felt was right.
Right.
Um, I dedicated myself 100%. So I will say that I do my best work with my children being young and being homeschooled. I
Sure.
do my best work late at night at the moment.
Sure.
So there was lots of late nights,
Hmm.
um, but it was so exciting that I didn't want to stop.
Right.
Um, and actually it doesn't feel as fast as what we say it is. It
Hmm.
doesn't feel like it was just 10 weeks ago, because my growth as a person has
Mm.
been so big in that time that it's hard to believe it was just a short space of time ago. It really is. But it's been a bit of a roller coaster, definitely.
Sure.
um, like, am I ready for this? Okay, I'm crying because this is exciting, and then okay, I'm really excited, I'm crying at the beginning.
That
But by the
sounds
time it's been crazy.
sure.
But by the time we got to the book, I was 100% ready,
Sure.
100% excited, nervous,
Sure.
um, but nervous maybe to how the launch would go,
Uh-huh.
rather than nervous to tell my story, because
Mhm.
I had practiced,
Sure.
um, and prepared myself for it, and finally, like I say, I genuinely felt ready to tell it,
Wow.
which at the start I really wasn't sure if I would. So
Wow. Outstanding. Well, in looking back over, what you wrote and your press release that went out, I think you've been out on Fox News and NBC and CBS. And, when you look at that, um, your what you wrote about is discovering your deeper why. And then I see the word about sparkling and helping other people sparkle, helping other people get past their self-doubt. So spend a few minutes here kind of unboxing this for all the thousands and thousands and maybe even tens of thousands of people that are going to watch this video. How do you connect those dots of focusing on your deeper why, and then how does that help you overcome your self-doubt and turn it into a sparkle? Help me with that.
So the reason I focused on the deeper why is because I think that, in many aspects of business, when you're self-employed, you look for your reason, for your passion, and you're told so many times that if you find your why, it will happen.
Right.
And I went along for a long time, and my why is my children, my why is my income.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that that was because that's what I thought should be my why,
Okay.
rather than what my deeper why was. Um, and I was pretty successful. We bought our first home, and things were good, but
Mhm.
I still didn't have this connection, this sparkle that I talk of. And when I say sparkle, I would say that when you're young and you smile, your eyes smile too. You have a sparkle in your eye.
Yes.
And going through the bullying and the torment and the way that manifested inside of me, that I didn't like myself anymore, I didn't have that. And it's interesting to look back on pictures from that time, because you'll look at me and I'm smiling, but I'm not really smiling. So that's what I mean by that sparkle. Um, and I achieved lots of things, and it still wasn't there, and I didn't know what was missing. And actually, it was standing up at a training event, for me, really, really hit home. And I was absolutely terrified that people were actually probably laughing at me rather than listening to me. And they weren't. They weren't laughing at me instead of listening to me. They were listening to me.
Sure.
Um, but because of how I felt about myself, that's what I thought would happen. And actually, the more I did this, and the more I just felt the fear and did it anyway,
Right.
I felt the confidence growing slowly, and the sparkle coming back. And what's really nice is that, I mean, I had people coming to me and saying, your training was fantastic, you're inspirational, and you hear these things, and when you feel like that about yourself, to hear other people say these things to you and genuinely mean it really does help. But I would probably say my biggest tip in building confidence and building that back up, and if you've lost your sparkle, getting it back again, is actually feel it and do it anyway. And as crazy as it might sound, practice your smile. It sounds mad, it feels mad when you do it, but it makes you laugh because it's uncomfortable. So
Sure.
then you smile.
Wow. Well, that's something that I think everyone, as you said it, we all had that sparkle when we were little and we had dreams. And then we have these well-meaning, I think, people that come into our lives and they take our dreams and our sparkle and they put it under their boot. And then they tell us, oh, you need to straighten up. You need to mature. You need to stop thinking your head in the clouds and stop stargazing. I mean, all that. How many times have you heard that? Right.
Yeah.
And so if that keeps being hampered on us long enough, it's like it takes this part of us that I feel is almost like a God spark, and it almost like beats it down and extinguishes it and tells us that something's wrong with us if we have that smile, if we have the sparkle in our eye, that we're not like everybody. And then, like you said, you have to realize that maybe you don't want to be like everyone else. And that realization, that eureka, is scary, isn't it?
I think it's exciting.
Well, yeah, it becomes exciting, but
I
at
think
first,
it's exciting.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, for a very long time, I always wanted to be like everybody else. I was always pointed out for being different. So to be at a stage where I'm happy to be me
wow,
is, it leaves me with a clearer mind and
sure.
an excited feeling.
Yeah. Well, I can tell just by how genuine you are, your smile, the true happiness that you call your sparkle that comes from your eyes. Um, what an amazing example you are as a leader of showing everyone in the world, because everyone needs what you have now found. Everyone. It changes your day, it changes your future. And what I think most importantly is you are such an incredible mother. You have changed the future of your daughters by doing something that just a couple months ago you would have said, oh, that's not going to happen. I don't know. Do you use the word is bullocks? Is that the right word? Is that does that go? I don't know. I don't know how the right British term is. When someone said, "Oh, that can't be right," is that when you say bullocks or something to that?
Maybe. I don't know what I would say. Yeah, I would just say no, 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 no. I wouldn't talk about that. Even at Christmas, just after Christmas, actually,
Right.
my daughter came to me and she's told me how she was feeling. And instead of being able to talk about it with her, I got quite emotional. I got quite sad, and I was only able to talk with her about it a little bit later. So it shows you the process and in that short amount of time, just how much it has helped.
Wow. So, like you said, so much amazing changes, and I've heard a little bit about something of you coming up in the sun. Is that true? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, so up and coming, it should be out in the next 2 weeks. Takes a little while longer in print.
Okay.
The Sun newspaper, obviously in the UK, on a Sunday they have a magazine,
Uh-huh.
and they're going to do an article in the magazine about my self-doubt to self-love, and all about the book in there as well.
Wow, outstanding. So you are already, and like you said, this is not even 3 months, and you're already reaching, I don't know, what's the distribution for the sun? I mean, it's huge.
I have no idea.
Oh. So what
I
did you,
wouldn't like to guess.
when you found out you were going to be in the sun and they were going to do a 2-page article on you, what did you think?
Very nervous. We all get nervous. We can have all the confidence in the world, but nerves are still sometimes a good feeling. Yeah, no, honestly, very nervous, but excited because
Sure.
the more people, and I was very clear as well that I wanted it to be a positive article. I don't want it to dwell on, poor me because I had a hard time. That's not what this is about. What
Right.
this is about is actually, if you're having a hard time, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
Um, and so I think it's really exciting to reach so many people with that message.
Outstanding. So now that you've come all this way in such a short period of time, tell me about the dream now that's making you sparkle. Tell me about what you see in the future.
Oh, I'm still very much in the moment right now. Um, so you know what? Um, I've been asked a couple of times, would there be another one? And already I think, why not? So that would be really exciting to be able to maybe elaborate or share some more with people because I've just found it such an amazing experience. I also think that in the future, I've already had a couple of guest speaking slots, obviously virtually at the moment, but I've already had a few of those. And so I'm able to connect with more people. Going forward, very much at the moment in the UK, we're still in lockdown.
Sure.
But I have had somebody who works for a social services type department who is interested in maybe having a chat with me about talking to young people who maybe go through the same things. So very much a lot of speaking going on, I think. And the main goal is just to continue helping people, to continue getting out there, and yeah, who
Wow.
knows what's next, really.
Well, we'll certainly keep up with you, but it's exciting, and I am just so happy to see all of your amazing success. And I wish you every bit more. You're wonderful. You're going to change the lives of many in this world, millions, because I know that your message and what you have and the way that you are express yourself and show people how to find that path that you don't have to stay in the maze. You don't have to feel that you're left behind because you gave them an answer and you're showing them the way. Thank you so much. You're awesome.
Thank you very much.
So I want to say thank you. You stayed up so late tonight to be here on the podcast. So thank you so much again. And we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you.
Okay.
Speak to you soon. Bye.